welcome to another episode of Countdown to Infinity, a Marvel's Avengers podcast. We talk all things Marvel Cinematic Universe, including the movies, the comics, and we're currently smack dab right in the middle of our Moon Knight, I guess, recap show, right? We're talking Moon Knight, the new Disney Plus streaming show. And I gotta say, I'm a big Moon Knighter.
Me too.
I'm a fan.
I 100%. Like it's so addictive, and it goes by so quickly. It's insane.
There's a lot that happens in these episodes, and it's really a unique thing. I think if you've seen a bunch of MCU stuff, you may think, oh, this all sounds the same, this all looks the same, but Moon Knight. My name is Emmanuel.
My name is Sophia.
And we're
back baby.
Definitely not a third take. Definitely all one giant.
No, we've been here.
We've been
on this.
You've been gone a couple weeks.
Gone.
You want to explain yourself? I'm just kidding. You don't have to. You don't have to.
No, it's fine.
No. Thank you.
I can do it.
Thank you to Brent for filling in.
Yes, thank you, Brent. You're the best.
We appreciate it, but we're back to talk about episode 4, The Tomb.
Yes.
I gotta say, well, we're going to talk about everything that happens in this, but we've got a tomb. We've got some genuine scary moments here. We've got
some cheesy moments here.
We've got some big revelations with Layla.
Yep.
And of course, a lot of Arthur. And then we've got quite an insane twist in this episode as well when it comes to what's real and what's not. But Sophia, what did you think about this episode?
I was pretty excited because we're getting closer and closer and closer, and things, like we said, happen super fast in this series. But Oscar Isaac is just doing a fantastic job as Steven and Mark. And I love
a third person we don't know
and a third
yet.
person that we don't know what's up. And then of course is Moon Knight and Mr. Knight and all the other 16 characters that he plays. But I do love that we're seeing more of the Steven side. Although I can totally do without a lot of the cheesy cliche moments, like the whole romance and whatever.
Oh my gosh, get out of town.
But that's just me being bitter.
I know.
And just a big old bitch. I know, I'm sorry. But no, I do love the action that we see here. I also love that we are already into it without his quote unquote powers. I think that was I thought
huge moment from the last episode, right?
Yeah, I didn't think that was gonna happen so quickly, but again, everything is just boom, 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 moving. So yeah.
I think that the last episode, it felt like something that happens in the middle of a lot of shows. She's going under the bed. Oh. It's kind of something that happens in a lot of these superhero shows, and really it happens a lot with characters where you kind of take away what makes them almost invincible. And it's credit to Layla, really, who helps save Mark and Steven, or saves his life so that they can continue on this adventure. And Mark and Layla, they've done this stuff before, so it's not like they were just going to go home and pack it up.
Yeah, and you know what? In this episode, we learned specifically that Layla has her own intentions and her own thing going on.
Past, yes.
So I do love that side of it. It kind of makes me wonder how deep in it she's going to get, if that makes sense. I think she would totally be okay being the next Avatar with whoever's up for it, just because of her. I mean, I guess we'll talk about it here in a second, but because of her dad and all that other jazz. But I do think that Steven is still a bit naive, and I think that he's now being ran by his emotions versus his logic.
Yeah, and Layla and he are falling in love, which is interesting. Technically not cheating.
Oh my god, I don't know, man. That kiss was so weird. I can't deal with that. Her face looks weird.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
What?
When it happens, she does not look happy to be there. It looks weird.
It's a little, I mean, there's a lot of conflicting things, I think, because they're, it's the same person, but also it's not. So I'm sure there's a lot that she's kind of trying to figure out as well.
Yeah.
But it is also one of the most important parts of this is Mark's relationship to Layla, and I mean
her past.
Arthur Yarrow does have the moment where he, reveals to her that Mark was at least in the room when her father die.
Wow, we're moving up in here, huh?
I know. And it may be the reason why they even met in the first place. I guess he was attempting to apologize, and maybe he didn't explain anything, and they just fell in love and got married. So it's very, I would say, very wrought right now. It's very like tense. Whatever's going on is tense. But of course, they're in a tomb and there's all this stuff happening, so they don't have a lot of time to deal with the consequences of these revelations, really.
It's like real Indiana Jones vibes going on in this episode. Like, I love the whole mystery behind it. I like the effects. The effects are really cool and scary.
You know, it is a real horror show inside of the tomb for a little bit. Like, it is spooky. They're seeing clues. For us, the suspense builds because we see some of the blood splatters of, past.
Yeah, it's very suspenseful.
Followers that are in there. And then we get to like some truly like sinister horror.
Yeah, like mummification.
Yeah, the prophets of Amit are back to life.
Legitimately. Hello. Yeah.
They're disemboweling people. They are, it's a really spooky thing. And then Layla has the moment, and that all of it's really scary, but the thing that really worked for me was when Layla was trying to cross that, I guess, kind of the ridge that's leading to a giant empty hole. And that's already scary on its own.
Yeah.
But in between some of the rocks is darkness, and in the darkness, of course,
she gets pulled.
There be monsters.
Oof,
so it is it's a combination. If you're scared of heights, and if you're scared of, mummies.
Yeah.
You got them both here. It's kind of fun. But I like when Marvel does some of this horror stuff. It's honestly why I look forward to Multiverse of Madness. Hopefully we get some of that there too.
Oh, for sure. I love every second of it. Like, I wanted more of this, like more and more and more. And especially because Khonshu is not back yet. You know, like we'd be waiting.
They're vulnerable, yeah.
But side note, I do love that they showed us all the other gods that are also in little stones, like who got like put away and stuff. Like, there's like 10 of them in total or something like that are also stacked away.
Yeah.
So, if any one of those tips over, whoopsies, and then like a whole bunch of stuff is going to be released.
That is, I think, another thing that I'm looking forward to. We know what Khonshu looks like because we've seen him, but we've only seen the avatars of the other gods. We don't yet know what they look like, and I think it sounds like in this world, they're kind of aliens. They talked about the world that they came from, and it's interesting because it's like Asgard and Thor. So even though they're gods and it's mythical, they're probably just aliens, like or just from another dimension.
Like yeah,
it's not necessarily that they're gods. I guess it's still sci-fi.
Yeah,
hard sci-fi. But this horror stuff, is scary. But then it suddenly becomes something else. Like in after Layla and Mark have a moment, a lot of distrust, and they fight. But Arthur finally arrives at the tomb. Well, before that, let's talk about who's even in the tomb.
Oh, yeah, I guess
it's Alexander the Great.
Yeah, super. I mean, I was not expecting. I didn't know who I was expecting, but it was definitely not him.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was going to happen.
One of the greatest conquerors of all time, lost.
But that makes sense.
And here he is. We found him. Or I guess we didn't. Mark and Layla did.
Yeah, no, Steven.
And, I mean, when he retrieves the thing from his mouth.
the stone thing?
Yeah, like that.
The stone version of Emmett?
I was so scared that...
Dude, that was gross.
He was going to come to life
I
and bite his hand off.
Oh, my God. I would never.
Classic zombie.
I could never put myself in those positions. I mean, even before that, leading up to him finding the tomb, like whenever they're separated, like the whole time, it's like I wouldn't even think twice about just finding the nearest exit and then dipping. Like, there's no way.
I think that's what's fun about having Steven experience most of this instead of Mark. Is Steven is a nerd for this stuff, Egyptian lore, and knows the history. And I guess Mark does a little bit because of the black market, but he's genuinely excited to discover stuff. And you're right, he is a little naive. He doesn't care about the danger.
No.
But yeah, he gets in there and he's like, he recognizes things. He's able to read Macedonia, writing and stuff.
Yeah.
He's kind of equipped. And I think that's really what we're looking forward to is when he is able to harness these different personalities, he can switch back and forth depending on what is needed and stuff. But, well, speaking of switching back and forth, Arthur shoots Mark in this. He falls into a pool of water, which seemed shallow.
Yeah, and then it just switches into this totally different type of cinematic experience, man.
Yeah.
Like the lighting completely changes, like the shots are completely different. Like it is so crazy. And for a moment like it had I'm going to be honest, it had me going in the first half. Like I was so deep into like, wait a minute.
What's happening?
Is this what are we experiencing as the viewer? Like, are we actually experiencing like real life with Layla, or is it just
Yeah.
his subconscious and like he's getting confused?
Well,
Because
one
like,
of the
oof.
yeah, and the way that they reveal it too, that switch is all in one take.
Yeah,
It's all a oneer.
looks so good.
We recognize people from the show, from his life,
Yeah,
in the mental institute, and he kind
right.
of questions this. Now, this is really interesting because this is straight from the comic books. This whole mental hospital thing.
Cool.
It's one of the cool things that he's able to do is he can recontextualize kind of what he's experiencing. So that it's kind of a benefit to him. So in order for him to kind of understand what's happening, or like weaknesses and stuff like that, he's able to, just change what he's seeing and stuff like that. And
That's really cool.
yeah, this mental hospital is interesting because we've got both versions of him, Mark and Steven,
meeting each other.
meeting each other.
Yeah.
Also, the scary third personality is
Right.
violent and coming out of
Coming out of one of the tombs.
Yeah, when we're not sure.
We're not, I mean,
what's gonna happen there.
I'm assuming that that's who that was and what that was.
He's kind of confused, just like we are. Arthur Yarrow is there. There's
Yeah.
like
Everybody is there.
there's Egyptian architecture and artifacts everywhere. Like it seems like he could have made it all up in his mind, but yeah, we don't know. And also, I had to look this up. Tower Red is there, the hippo god of childbirth.
Yeah.
She's there. She's the ender of this. What
Yeah.
did you think about this kind of? I don't even know if this is surreal or this other reality.
It
moment.
really had me going, and like I said, like I mean, I'm totally. It's very tricky, isn't it? Like I can be totally convinced that this is actually like his reality, and like what if he is in this mental hospital and like or like this institution, and like Layla is just some random or whatever. But he also had like the little action. There were so many Easter eggs throughout this entire like sequence. It was insane. Like there was a little tiny moonlight. Oh my gosh,
Toy.
Moon Knight toy. Yeah, and then there was also everything written against the walls, all the characters in the background. I mean, there was the cane. Arthur was there, but he was his doctor instead. But then there was also like little tidbits of like the Egyptian gods that he has been experiencing or studying throughout this entire time. And then of course the VHS. Oh my gosh, that
Yeah.
was so cool.
The
like
show that
yeah, like
Yeah.
the movie or whatever it was within that like it was so cool and it was so tied together and it made sense and it had me going. I was like, "Oh my gosh, like was this all fake? Like was this just in his mind? Like I've been watching this entire time. Like it really had me going." And then of course he meets himself or Mark meets Steven or vice versa. Steven meets Mark and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Wait a second. Like no, we have to be in his brain. Like we have to be inside of here. It's not real life. Like this is just what he is experiencing in this moment. And it could also just be like a near death experience too, since he was shot and he was going through all that because Arthur just like went bam bam, you know,
Yeah.
right in front of the tomb. So I mean, there's so many different things that ran through my head. It was crazy, but
Yeah.
I appreciated all of it.
It's an interesting way I think to experience what he feels with his dissociative
Yeah.
personality thing that he's got going on, especially considering that there are other personalities like that third one we haven't seen yet, but maybe how his mind pieces together these different things and how he makes sense of it all
Yeah.
is pretty interesting. And also it's one of the strengths of Moon Knight. Not a lot of no other superheroes can do this part of it. And in the comic books, he's able to use it to discover like weaknesses of his enemies and stuff.
Yeah.
And, if Arthur Yarrow is just a doctor, it's a little bit easier for him to defeat him, considering that's what he thinks
Yeah.
or how he's feeling. But I'm interested more in like the
But he seemed to remember the Arthur that was in real life, like because
Yeah.
he had that sense of fear and because he had that instinct to escape his surroundings, like even though like as he felt his sedation
yeah.
come like wearing off, he was like, nah, I have to get out of here. I know that you're just talking all this mess, like this isn't the real you. Like he was still able to be like, nah, I'm outie.
Yeah.
I'm outie 5,000. Like no.
There's other so from the comic books there are other, and none of this, I'm not going to go too deep because this may not happen here, but there are other nurses and doctors in the mental hospital.
Oh, yeah.
That's some of them are really really evil. So I mean, we haven't seen who Amit is yet. That may be
Right.
interesting if we discover him kind of in this mental hospital world instead of
her.
outside of it
Yeah.
for the first time. It's interesting that they have the hippo god. I mean, it's kind of a funny moment, but that's the god of childbirth, which you assume has some kind of a meaning, or maybe like rebirth or something like that. I mean,
Right.
it's not. I don't think it's random.
What if it's the birth of the third personality?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really interested in how they get, because no one, and the whole time this episode was going on, I was like, okay, how come they didn't try to get Khonshu out first before they did all of this? I guess it's a race against time against Arthur, but like you kind of need him, don't you? Like you need Khonshu and his powers to survive, and especially now that you're vulnerable like this. I
Right.
mean, straight up shot.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like it's on Layla to find Khonshu or something, or at least for Arthur and Steven to team up and figure out what to do next. It's kind of a weird situation.
I mean, honestly, Khonshu told Steven as he was like deteriorating or being put inside of the little
Getting
stone.
stoned up.
Yeah,
getting
he was
hard.
like, he told Steven, like, tell Mark to come and find me. Tell Mark to release me whenever he can. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna be here, like, put in this little stone thing, and then
Yeah.
y'all better come and get me. But Steven, like, has not mentioned anything to Mark. He was like, nah, fuck that. We're just gonna go and grab a mitt real quick. I'll see you later, and then
Yeah.
hope for the best. Like, I don't think it's fair.
And this is this. I mean, it's hard to ignore the fact that there's only 2 episodes left of this show. That we're pretty far into
That's
it.
insane.
It's insane. We're well past the halfway point, and so there's going to be more. I mean, there's obviously going to be more that's going to be revealed. I think one of
Yeah.
the big emotional things, of course, is Layla and Mark kind of left at the worst spot possible.
I mean, Mark straight up admitted to it, right? Like
Yeah.
to being there,
And
then
it does.
there
And
was
he
like
didn't kill him.
No.
but he did bring an assassin to
right,
kill him.
supposedly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is, he's in the wrong still,
Mm-hmm,
and I think what's even worse is he didn't like say anything
Say it
for
to
years
her.
and
Yeah.
years and
I
years.
mean, how do you go years without mentioning it?
Yeah.
But
And then of course, like Steven's kind of innocent in this whole thing, and maybe she likes him more now, especially since he didn't, kill her dad. But
Yeah.
did he kill her? I don't know. But it is, I'm the mental hospital world. I feel like we're going to be in a little bit longer, at least in the next episode.
at least for half of the next step. I
Yeah.
mean, they got some explaining to do, Like
Yeah.
you can't just introduce something like that. Of course, they put the cliffhanger because of the hippo, but like
It's
what the
kind
hell?
of it's fun because it's kind of a left field thing because really,
kind of.
well, it is. But if you just are looking at what's happening in the show, it's all happening in like just a couple of days. There's a MacGuffin often. Like it's find the beetle, find the scarab. Okay, we got the scarab. Okay, now we got to go into tomb to get the next thing. Like it's all about these objects and going to find them.
It's like a giant scavenger hunt.
Yeah, which is a classic kind of a narrative device.
Indiana Jones.
But, throwing him into a totally different reality, that I think is really enjoyable because you can assume in your head that they're going to find, the stone. They're going to do all the stuff that they need to do. But to have this stuff that's really, really unique happen in between, I think that's what makes this show really, really special. And then,
Yeah.
all the horror elements that are in this, all the
And all the beauty of the
personal
shots.
stuff. Yeah, like it's still really fun despite the fact that you probably can assume he's going to
Yeah.
have a big fight at some point with a monster, which, can't wait for it because we've only so far seen Moon Knight fight a handful of times. No Moon Knight in this at all, really. No Mr. Knight in this. It is incredibly fun still.
No, because he didn't have his power. Khonshu's gone.
But it's, that's I think the thing that we're in store for maybe the best Moon Knight fight of the entire series.
I think Khonshu's gonna have to pop up again
Yeah.
in order for Mark or Steven to get the powers back.
Yeah.
Or Amit's going to wake up first, and then Khonshu's gonna have to wake up, and then something's gonna go down.
Yeah, if since they're making such big leaps, I talked about the Overvoid, which is the world that these Egyptian gods come from.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll go there. Like, it's not out of the realm of possibilities to see this, like to
Right.
see another Asgard or to see another world where there are gods among men.
I mean, at this point, if you're a Marvel fan, you're kind of used to that already, right?
Yeah.
And you're just already anticipating it.
You're like, okay, cool. Let's meet some new people and their whole new whatever. But yeah, this is really fun, and I think that the big arc of the series is Stephen Grant discovering his powers and maybe even learning how to live alongside the other personalities in his his mental state. And I think that's ultimately what he's gonna figure out.
Do you think Steven's going to be the one that has the most control?
I think so.
You think so?
I think it's hard for Layla and Mark to make up, quote unquote. Okay, that's a pretty big.
Mark's losing the battle.
Yeah, like if Layla at some point just says like, "I forgive you, Mark," or something like that, that's to me, I'm like, oh my god, that's insane.
Yeah.
That takes years of therapy.
In just a couple of days.
Yeah, but for him to switch and be like, "I'm Steven," it may be a little easier for her to be like, "Okay, you're a different person."
Well, and that's why I think that she's going to have her own her own thing going on. Like she's
Yeah.
gonna have her own intentions of like, you know what, I'm gonna be a new avatar for Amit, or I'm gonna be something,
Yeah.
because she's like,
Well, not Amit. I
not
don't
Amit,
think.
not
Yeah.
Amit, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like she's gonna have her own person or be her own thing, because I feel like I don't think she's digging Steven
Yeah.
as much as we
Yeah.
would like her to. And I don't think that she's about Mark anymore. So I
Yeah.
think the only reason she has Steven or Mark, Oscar Isaac, around right now is just to reach her goal, which is to be better, not better, but to complete her dad's like mission or his legacy, to continue like doing all this, like, you know, God stuff.
Yeah. That's, you brought up a good point, because they did allude to the fact that Layla could be Khonshu's next avatar, and that'd be an interesting way to rescue Mark, to have her,
Yeah.
or at least have Moon Knight join forces with her, and then maybe switch back. I don't know. Who knows? She definitely has a mitt. She definitely has the Stone of Amit, so the power or the next thing rests with her. I would hope she doesn't just hand it to Arthur in exchange for like Mark's life. That would be kind of lame, because, I mean, it. I don't want to be too like crass or anything, but his life is worth less than Amit coming back. Don't you think? Like that would be a super emotional thing to be like, oh, you know what? Here, take this thing you need to end the world because I want Stephen Grant back or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm excited because it's like a whole new ball game now. We've got this new world we're in, and we're gonna have to figure it out. What are you looking at? Anything else that you're looking forward to in the next episode, or are you just kind of like?
I'm just ready for episode 5, because we've been, we all know what happens in episode 5.
This
Like
is it.
some things
the
go down.
penultimate, second to last. That's the one that really goes crazy.
So I don't know what to expect, but because, I mean, to be frank, I don't really know what to expect out of these anyway.
Yeah.
Other than like continuing on with whatever story was left from the episode before.
Yeah.
But like this whole like subconscious thing, like at the very
It's
end,
cool, yeah.
I did not see that
Yeah.
coming at all. I didn't even see him getting shot coming. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So like it's
Twice.
really up in the air for me. I'm just down for whatever.
Yeah.
I'm here for the ride.
And how cool is it that it at some point, and this is maybe too far down the line, but at some point Moon Knight could be in an Avengers film, and we can experience what he sees. Does that make sense? Like what context he sees? I mean, that's funny. Like that's fun. You can have, Thor, as a barista at a whatever, and that's how he's making sense of what's happening.
Yeah.
When in reality,
Like
they're
in
doing,
his own mind.
like that's fun, and that's super unique to his character, and that's why I think it's neat that we're seeing this, because it is something that lends itself to being fun on TV. This was again like a string of the comic books, but it totally translates differently on screen, it's a lot.
I could see that happening like as a post or an after credit scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
the whole thing, was just this or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're excited for the next episode. I'm sure there's going to be some kind of a. There's going to be resolution, so who knows? And I don't want to speculate too. Some people are talking about Crawley, who's the Golden Man, who was in the first couple episodes, and how he's important in the comic books. But we haven't really seen him here yet do anything more than just be a Golden Man. People are speculating about the gods and what happens next and who the third personality is. We're not going to go too far into that because that could all be wrong.
Yeah.
So just enjoying it. so far. But
I'm telling you, living it episode by episode.
yeah, living the dream episode by episode. But hey, we're also really close to Multiverse of Madness, and that's going to be kind of its own
Yeah.
trip too. But oh boy, but we've got a couple episodes left of Moon Knight. We're really excited, and we'll be talking about the next one here soon. Sophia, well, what do you have to plug?
Just the same old stuff, you know. Just thank you so much to everyone who is listening. You have no idea how much we appreciate you. Your support really means like the entire world to us. So thank you so much. And if you want to support us even further, you sure can. Just go to our patreon.com/delphinpod, DELFINPOD. You can listen to all of the exclusive stuff that is released there. You know, all the other shows on Delphin Pod 2. Please go check them out. They're all great. And if you want to follow me on anything socially related, you sure can. Everything's going to be at _simply Sophie, SOFIEE.
Sweet. Yeah, listen to all the other shows. Follow us at Delphin Pod everywhere. Thanks so much for listening. We are going to be back to talk more Moon Knight next week.
You know it, baby.
Then we're going to talk Multiverse of Madness,
Man,
which I'm really excited for.
Insane that it's already coming up. We've been waiting
Yeah.
so long, and I love. Baby boy, Doctor Strange.
There's
I'm
a
so
lot.
excited.
There's a lot coming out weekly. I would say the next couple of weeks stay off. Well, I would. That never works.
Yeah, right.
When we tell people to stay off social media, they don't. They can't last an hour.
I'm gonna see all y'all on there. Like, I'm excited.
I'm just saying, there's a lot of spoilers. The screenings have been happening. That movie's out and about. People are talking about what's in it. So
I'm gonna watch it either way.
at least mute some words or whatever.
Nah,
I don't
bro.
know.
Nah, I'm
Okay.
I'm deep diving in. I don't care.
We'll see you next week. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.